Man, am I glad you're here. This is the Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast. I'm Mr. Producer, and this is part one of a poolside chat from the recent Green Industry Hype House, sponsored by both the Hardscape Academy and the Launchpreneur Academy. Once today's episode is complete, then download and listen to the Kid Contractor Podcast with Caleb Auman, as part two will be waiting on you there. Enjoy the show.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast. Straightforward, no-nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here, hanging with you guys. We are actually poolside. We are hot tub side down here in beautiful Tampa, Florida, at the 2022 Green Industry Hype House, brought to you by the Hardscape Academy and Launchpreneur Academy. So we're actually here with a round table over here with a bunch of great superstar podcasters, green industry professionals. Let's go through the introductions. We got John. What's up, brother? How are you doing?
That was quite a hype up for John. I don't know. I'm none of those things.
John. Come on, give a proper introduction to thyself.
I'm John with Signature Landscape, and I was invited down here to share some information that I got.
There you go. Landscape Corp.
Oh, sorry. Landscape.
They're going to try to
Corp.
find you on Instagram, and if you don't figure it all out, talk to Andy Mulder. It's all about branding. Anyway, go to Caleb Auman.
Hey, everybody. Caleb with Auman Landscape, and Brittany.
Hello.
She's sitting to the side here, and Auman Landscape, based in beautiful Fairfield County, Ohio.
Really quick, Caleb is wearing a green long sleeve high vis sweater hoodie, and Miss Britt is wearing a Milwaukee M12 heated jacket. Mm-hmm. That's how hot it is down here, folks. We're doing the hot tub. I was like, let's go do a hot tub podcast. I'm like, cool. And we get down there. It's a cold tub.
5 hours ago, you're like, hey, hot tub, 10 minutes. I put my swim trunks on at noon. Then we come down at 5 p.m. It's like, it ain't hot no more. I don't know what things are working. It's been 5 hours, man.
Listen, when you get a baby and you got the baby time, I got to go. I'm in between baby naps and mom naps. So it's like, here's my window.
I was this close to going to the beach, and he's like, hot tub, 10 minutes. I'm like, sure. 5 hours later. 5 hours later.
I'm like a reserve the time slot, all right? Just relax. Just block off the day, okay? And then that's Paul Jamison with the
Green Industry Podcast.
All right, cool deal. And so what happened to the heat, though, for real? You're from sunny Atlanta.
Yeah, well, in Atlanta, in January, February, it's 40s, 50s. So to me, this is sweet.
This is nice.
It's 74 today. Well, I don't understand what you guys are complaining about.
Actually, this hot tub, whatever this thing is here, because it's bathtub water. It's not hot water yet.
Do you see an improvement since we got down here?
No, that's the thing. These guys have their feet by the jets. Is it warming up, John?
No, sir.
I'm going to know.
Or are we like the lobster in a pot doesn't know it's getting boiled because we got our feet in here and it's
that's
not warm and fast.
That's what I'm wondering. But I don't know. If you guys are listening and you guys know how to work a hot tub, somebody send us a DM and let us know. But so we're hanging down here in the beautiful, it's actually Sarasota, Siesta Key area of the greater, I guess, Tampa area. And we're down here for the 2022 Green Industry Hype House, which is a collaborative effort. We're bringing a bunch of green industry professionals down here to just create content, hang out. We're actually kind of paying our way for the most part with this whole thing. The Launchpreneur Academy and Hardscape Academy are sponsoring this thing, and it's just a great time to get a bunch of like-minded individuals together to talk shop, talk business. And literally, we're not like, hey, how you get more Instagram followers? It's really like, hey, how are you growing your company? What are you doing for price increases? Maybe you guys had a chance to jump on some of the live streams that we did this week at the time we were shooting this podcast real time. So let's go around the room. Paul, 2022, what are you noticing for some trends? What are you thinking about for business out there? What do you see guys, what are they most excited about out there for 2022 with equipment, pricing?
Yeah, well, definitely we'll start with pricing. I was talking with Andy Mulder quite a bit about this, and his math is 7 to 8% inflation.
Cool.
And then when you add on top of that your regular rate or price increase that you should have every year, he's personally, Mulder Outdoor Services and their lawn maintenance division, they're going up 12%.
Cool.
And so that's a lot because in years past in Atlanta, it's usually 5 to 7%.
Uh-huh.
But inflation's so unusual this year for the various reasons. So I think if you're not raising your prices by 10% this year across the board, you're getting left behind. So
okay,
and that's assuming you had accurate prices to begin with.
Which is could be another double-edged sword, right? Like, you're like, man, I got to go up 7 to 10%, and I already have prices, lawns that are already low bid or low price, or hardscape work that's already low bid or low price, or you're just starting to find your numbers. That was like a wake-up call. I'm like, I need to be charging this much. I was nowhere close to that, and then I got to come up with another 7 to 10% per year. Whoa, that's a tough road to hoe. Some customers, as you would imagine, didn't like those conversations. And so that's why we always say, always market. Even if you have a full route or a full business, keep marketing because you're going to have attrition just naturally. Caleb, what are you noticing for trends and pricing? I guess while we're on pricing, how's things going in the hardscape world?
Same thing. It's interesting on the hardscape manufacturers end. They've been slower to roll out price increases, but they've been doing it.
Yeah.
The place we see the big price increases is pipe, wire, hardware, stuff like that. But the hard goods or the hardscape goods like pavers, retaining wall blocks, stuff like that, it is going up, but it doesn't seem and John, I don't know, you either back me up on this or tell me I'm crazy. It's not as violently rapidly going up. Concrete's still going up. Concrete products, just actual ready mix concrete, stuff like that. That's going up pretty regular, but for some reason the hardscape manufacturers seem to be trying to delay those rollouts.
Yeah, they seem to be doing all right. I know I just attended the Unilock, what do they call it? Not boots on the ground, but their AC seminar. And what we got updated is on all the stuff that they're not going to be promoting anymore.
Yeah.
So Rivercrest is like a weird looking, natural looking wall that won't be around for 22. And then now they're starting to kick out the pricing toward us, and that's what we're implementing into our new CRM software. So I'm probably a little bit behind you on the budget side, but that's what I'm working on in the month of February is I'm starting the design consultations and just finalizing the budget as these numbers come to me.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to mention is they oh my gosh, just lost my train of thought, Brian.
With raising prices, Unilock, somebody.
Oh, thank you, sir. And that is one thing the manufacturers are doing. They're cutting a lot of the material lines and product lines that aren't like their top sellers or their primary sellers. That they are cutting. We just got an email the other day of probably a dozen from Unilock, maybe a dozen products they're cutting out in colors and stuff. So they're really trimming unproductive stuff.
I'm pretty sure I get the same email, or I'm on the same email list that you guys probably are on with Site One, and a lot of their email was like, hey, this is going up, and then a bunch of stuff was a wording I've never really seen before, which was like, we don't know when it's going to be available. We don't know what the price is going to be. And it's almost like you go to a nicer restaurant, it's like market rate, or what do they call it? Market.
Market, like for seafood, market rate.
Market rate, market price. And I'm like, man, that's interesting when you start navigating around all these different products, and your guys' stuff is way more dynamic. You could have 100, 200 moving parts on a hardscape job, landscape job, from glues to bricks to pipes to lights, wire, all this stuff.
I think it's smart to stock up on some stuff, like you said, like the glue, the edging, the spikes, so that stuff can be at least a constant until you have to reorder it.
Sure.
But yeah, if you're not keeping up with every single estimate, and I know I want to get on my suppliers a little bit more for letting me know when prices change.
Sure.
They'll update their website, but we're not getting an email out to say, hey, we've updated the pricing again. And that's what I want to make sure I'm aware of.
I like it. Let me ask you this. When you guys talk about raising rates and prices for your customers, it's a little different for lawn care compared to hardscaping, landscaping, right? Because the next job that you guys do, if there was a price increase or you didn't make what you wanted to, whatever, multiple variables there, you can raise the price on your next landscape job, right? The customer that you do next doesn't know what you charged the customer necessarily before. So do you guys get a lot of pushback? Do you guys get a lot of tough conversations with how you're explaining these rate increases for the materials or for a patio? Like, hey, our neighbor across the commons, they had a patio put in for $15,000, and now you're quoting them $22,000. Do they get it, or is there pushback, or are they like, hey, I'm gonna go get 3 more bids, and you're like, listen, lady, it's gonna be the same thing with all of us. How do you guys hedge those conversations?
The big thing, unfortunately, when it comes to pricing across the board, when it comes to patio stuff, is that the industry is it's not super often you're going to get, although, it depends, but it's not often you're going to get put against the same 3 quality contractors as you would consider yourself. And so, yeah, the ranges are going to fluctuate so violently anyways.
Right.
It's like, it's rare that I get put in the same category with some guys I would consider it on par with us, know? So generally it's just like, all your prices are crazy high. And, it's either that or it's like fair. We hired the kid or the startup guy that doesn't quite know, what he's worth, or, doesn't have the experience to command the pricing that he needs to. We don't deal with that so much. or that's what we deal with, rather.
Yeah.
The thing that's hurting us is our pricing, and just as we learn it more, I mean, still, I've been in this 20 years, and we're still always learning more on our pricing and our overhead, and learning to be more confident with our pricing too. But the stuff we're seeing, or I'm having issues with, is we do a lot of that the stormwater management work, drain line installs for a couple of commercial clients of ours, and they're repeatedly every month asking us for bids on projects, and the pricing just keeps ratcheting up and up and up. And so they see last year the same basin project cost us X, and now it's 30% higher. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And they're in construction and bidding, they get it, but you still get pushback. You
Right.
still get complaint, or you still just get grief, whatever, but grumbling over.
To expand on that, I mean, the clients don't know what it costs. That's their whole thing. Like, hey, what's your budget? They don't know. They want us to give them the price. So if they haven't talked to anybody else, either if I tell them it's 10% this way, 10% that way, they still really think it's expensive. But in the point of, I don't have many situations because we charge a design fee and it costs money to get to the quote portion of the process. You're not going to be bidding against a lot of people at that point. Usually it's a decision based on some maybe conceptual budgets and whether or not the client likes you.
Yeah.
And then it's just I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
It isn't so much comparison.
I like what Andy Mulder said on the live stream a couple days ago. He said, well, then we're just not the customer, or we're just not the contractor for you. He's like, here's our price is our price. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to lower my standards or lower the quality or lower the price, right, for what we're doing. And if it's what do they say? It's like a price issue. It's your budget issue.
Mm-hmm.
Like the patio's $52,000 or whatever, and or the weekly mowing, it's $45. Like, man, well, the other guy can do it for $25. Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you, as respectful as I can. Like, we're just not the right company for you, and that's okay. That's okay. The sooner I realize as soon as you realize that, because it took me, embarrassingly enough, 11, 12 years to kind of know my worth or our value or what me and my guys are doing to be able to charge that top dollar, So we're going to be kicking back over to Paul Jamison over here, Mr. Green Industry Podcast. What else you got going on for, you said pricing was one of the things you're noticing people talk about. What's some other fun, exciting trends from the people that you've been doing podcasts with or YouTube videos here at the house? What are people talking about?
Yeah, the whole electric thing seems to be a craze, obviously.
Electric and battery power?
Yeah.
Tell me about it. What do you got?
Well, I mean, obviously at GIE there was a whole bunch of brand new battery electric equipment.
Okay.
And I think just culturally there's a lot of pressure to go that way just with the legalities in California and things of that nature. I just did a coaching call with Russell out there in California. I think you did too, Caleb. Yeah. And they got all kind of rules out there where I think in 2 years they have to switch anyway.
Yeah, to all electric, all battery.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
You asked what a trend is. I mean, that's one you can't deny.
Well, there's not only that they're also, so far as I had heard in Dirt World, is they are mandating all the big heavy construction equipment, anything that's over a certain age is got to be done away with, because it's all got to have the Tier 4 final emissions on it. So all the old equipment out there that's from the 70s, the big scrapers, pans, dozers, all that stuff, it's got to go.
So that all gets shipped over to Africa?
I don't know if Nevada people in Nevada get to buy it.
Arizona?
They're pushing that out of the state.
That stuff goes overseas, man. It goes to Pakistan, India, all those other construction sites.
Oh, sure. Yeah, they'll ship that. But I mean, a lot of the manufacturers over there too, they don't have to comply. They don't do any of that Tier 4 emission stuff. So, and a lot of the developing nations and stuff, they just don't have that. They don't have those ridiculous rules.
That's crazy. Talking about trends for the industry, but what do you guys got going on for Auman Landscape going into 2022? Anything you're growing on, focusing on, getting rid of?
Our company currently is in the process of building a shop, so that's our big news in our world,
which is really exciting. If you guys haven't, not to interrupt you, but Kid Contractor Podcast, I'm listening to it every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, trying to get the updates and hear the exciting news. And you guys just signed. Real time, probably about a week ago, when this podcast comes out, maybe 2-3 weeks, ago. But you guys just signed on your shop, last week, Tuesday?
Yeah, we finalized construction loan documents, last week. Okay. And then we had purchased it we actually closed and purchased the land in November, December. I don't know, the time flies, so I can't keep track of all this stuff.
It's been a blur. Less than 10 days, though.
Yeah, for the construction loan. We bought the land a couple months ago, and we'd been, in the meantime, putting in a driveway and the building pad to be ready for our builder. But, so that's a big thing in our world. So we're building a shop, and then we're really wrestling with starting a pool installation division on top of.
Is that finally coming to pass?
I think we've been in talks with a guy that's been doing some pools.
Okay.
Was partnered with another contractor, and that hadn't worked out. And I think we're going to be the partnering company with him now to do pools.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting. It's kind of scary. The main thing is like the bandwidth draw. Like we're trying to find, and we've got ads out for a guy to be a pool install division manager.
Okay.
So that's kind of like our big push on that, and just trying to hire a couple extra good foreman quality people, and just go into the year and crush and exceed sales and get the building built and not get divorced or go too much crazier than we already are.
It's like you say that, and then actually like right now, real time he's blinking.
SOS, man.
The shop. Tell us a little bit more about the shop. That's. I always. This is just my opinion, my observation, and maybe this is my story in general. But to me, it seems like there's two. I don't call them like rites of passage, but like two huge checkpoints or benchmarks for a lot of contractors. At least this was for me. One was like the nice truck, and then two was home base, the headquarters. So one's the. You guys might actually be able to hear some chainsaws or something going on in the background, or maybe a saw of some type, or I don't know, they're doing new construction on the house next to us. But number one was like the nice truck, and then number two was the shop. And so you guys have a lot of great things going on with equipment and vehicles and all that mess, of course. But what does it feel like to finally have, what's the official name? Like Auman, Worldwide HQ, taking over the planet. What is the moniker? Because you have a Rancho Almano. Right?
Yeah, right.
You know
the house there. Britt's been calling it just Auman HQ. I just so far been called the shop property. I'm not sure what that's really just the shop property. We don't have a pet cutesy name for it. I don't know what that's going to develop into. We'll see, but
Auman Worldwide.
Yeah, yeah, the Prestige Worldwide, right? So
there you go.
The
not taking investors. But it's got to be something big. Not to catch up. It's got to be something somewhat grandiose because you're doing a lot of things all under one roof.
Yes, the building's going to be awesome. It's 70 by 120 with 20-foot ceilings and 9-foot office. So 9-foot office ceilings in 2 stories. We won't finish the second story of offices till we have a need for them. But
okay.
But
the capacity.
But we'll have a media room in there for podcasting and green screen, just whatever the heck we want to do. Conference room that we're willing to lease out or rent out to traveling businesses or whatever if they need a conference room or a boardroom kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then we have the central bays of the shop is going to be for Auman landscape repair area and storage of hardscape material and stuff we need. And then the back third is going to be our training school, Hardscape Academy.
Yeah.
And that's we're really looking forward to that, to have a place to have trainings and through the winter, through the summer, in person hardscape construction training, pavers, retaining walls, all that stuff. So we're insanely excited. The offices are going to be really nice. We're really throwing down on it pretty hard.
You guys have told us a couple numbers behind the scenes, and it's a lot. And I'm like, hey, that's going to be awesome, and I'm excited for you guys. What is something that you are most looking forward to the shop? You always joke on your podcast, big fan. You always say it's like the second coming of Jesus, right?
For us, we're treating it like it, yeah.
So what's your biggest exciting development or takeaway that you think the shop will provide? I think logistics a little bit, you were saying, load and unload time. I'm sure there's gamut. So what do you got? Yeah,
I mean, the place we operate out of now, our overhead's very low there because the rent's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like what we save in money financially, we lose in ergonomics, in efficiency of supply areas, logistics. Our office isn't there. The office is in the house, so we're removed from the guys when they get in the morning, or when they get in the morning or get in the afternoon and evening.
Yep.
And we're really and having fuel on site. We don't have fuel. Fuel tanks, whatever. And so just bringing so much of that stuff in house, I know what we're losing. Financially from not having that stuff in house, and on one location and sending guys to the supply yard to get a few tons of something, and we're gonna have that in house, and we're saving that drive time, and that stuff adds up to hundreds and thousands of dollars a month. So we know as soon as we get that in house, even though our mortgage or our overhead shop wise is going to increase to probably fourfold. The savings of not paying guys to run to Home Depot so often for pipe parts,
screws, bolts.
Yeah, we'll have room for inventory, and such a cool thing, man, that I can't wait to utilize. And Jeremy Swihart does it, Andy Mulder does, a few other guys, is inventory systems in the shop from some of your supply houses and supply companies. Everything from Band-Aids to hose clamps and pipe parts and all that. They'll come. You'll have your own little store section in your building,
right?
And they'll have a rep come. They'll scan how many units you say you want all on hand all the time. They'll scan it. They'll they'll take a quantity on it.
Yeah.
And it'll deliver the parts back to you. So you always have an inventory of stuff, and you're never.
I'm fascinated to see how that works.
I'm
like firsthand because I've heard stories now, and I'm like, that just sounds awesome,
dude. I'm so pumped for that kind of stuff, just to save us the run. And that's the thing, is the death by 1,000 paper cuts when we're a hose clamp short for the irrigation job, or like you just always have all that stuff in a shop, and to grab what you need in the morning. And there'll still be things that will get forgotten. There's no. And we were talking to AJ Brentzl there. They run a $10 million construction company, and they'll be on a $500,000 dirt moving job. And somebody forgets to take shovels to the site. They got $2 million worth of equipment sitting there, and somebody forgets to get shovels, out of the shop, or somebody's truck doesn't have shovels, and they got to run to Home Depot by shovels. Stupid things are still going to happen.
Sure.
But we know a lot of that's going to save a lot of time and money.
I'm really excited about that because I mean that's the dream, right? Like everybody, you have home base, and then you can take your whole rigs, your enclosed trailer, your plans, you have communication. I love that. I heard a guy say once there's a 100 millionaire or something, like somebody interviewed him and said he was wearing loafers, and somebody said, why are you wearing loafers? And he said, because it takes me 30 seconds every day to tie my shoes. If I have loafers, I can just get out the door or get out to work. And so it's like, he said, if you take 30 seconds a day times whatever, 30 days in a month times 30 years, he goes, I spent 3 months of my productive life tying my shoes.
Yeah.
And do you know what I'm saying? And while you were talking about fueling up, I'm thinking to myself, it's only 15 minutes at the gas station, right? Times 5 days a week, times 30,
If a couple guys are sitting there too, then it's multiples.
My labor rate, I'm thinking like, man, there goes $20-$30 just to fuel up. It cost me $80 in fuel or $100 just to fill up the rig, and then another $30, and then it just never ends. And then I'm thinking, if you got 4 or 5 guys in the truck, or the guys are earning the labor rates that your guys earn, because it'll be a different industry, I'm thinking to myself, man, a fuel up could be $100-$200 in the company dime per day.
Yeah, it's thousands of dollars a year. It's crazy, and it's just one. That's just one aspect, and there's just so much waste in a company that we've got to watch out for, and we've got so much that we can work on, and
everybody does.
Sure. And we're just slowly and constantly working towards cutting out that attrition of loss and revenue, and the reason cutting that stuff out is so important is like it helps the bottom line, and it allows, if we can cut out waste, we can pay guys better, we can buy nicer trucks, buy nicer stuff, but waste is waste, and the definition of waste is unneeded, unnecessary, useless things. So we can take that waste and turn it into something that is actually useful, like better wages, better trucks, better tools, right? John, what do you do? What are some things you have found in the past couple of years to cut waste out of your company?
Multiple trips to my local dealer to dump brick scraps. So I kind of made a spot in my yard where I can dump those off and maybe do a haul off every month or so.
Yeah.
Also, saving returns to when the job is 100% complete. I've got a little ahead of myself before when I've went and maybe returned some extra quarry wall that I thought I no longer need before the job was 100% complete. Client adds something, and now I pay to restock, and then I rebought it again. So I'm trying to get better about doing a return almost once the check's cleared. That way it's, hey, this job site, all the extras are going back to the dealer for a return if I don't necessarily need them in the immediate future.
That'll make accounting on jobs easier too, I'd imagine, right?
It does, yeah. And that way, I always like to order in full pallets. My dealers like that, and the direct load, when it comes right down from Aurora for me, they appreciate that as well. So
do they give you a hard time about returning partials?
They do, but
mine used to, but I think they gave up on it.
Yeah, so I used to wait. I ordered full pallets the whole year, and then I would wait till the end of the year to go ahead and clean out my boneyard. And it was all very organized and layered and sectioned, but they gave me a little pushback. I think it was a couple years ago. They're like, hey, this doesn't give us an opportunity to resell it. So if you wouldn't mind, let's do this per job. Let's do this 10, 15 times per year. And that way we have an opportunity to resell the sectioned material.
Right, yeah. And because taking it home to store, and Brian had to handle something here, so it's going to turn into hardscape talk here. So we're just going to hijack the show.
That's good.
Here.
You got me for about 10 minutes till my Uber shows up.
Okay, because your flight got canceled because all this crazy snowstorm stuff coming in.
Round 2 to the airport.
Brian's back. He's going to get us back on track here.
He's dipping. Of course, we use my equipment in the hot tub at trial.
My course dipping in the water.
You want to use your stuff?
Listen,
that's ground fault. It's ground faulted, right? We won't get shocked to
Why don't we
pieces.
use your equipment and we use my chip?
I think a BYO headphone. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm in the hot tub. They say, come on down the floor. It's going to be amazing. There's going to be a hot tub down there.
Oh, it's working.
You think it's working?
I don't know. I just put my hand in.
Blake B&B is over here just hanging poolside, and he thinks it's just the wind like hitting your hand, and you're like, oh, it feels nice when you put it in the water, you know?
It hasn't changed at all.
Man,
I wonder if we should call
the
the Andrew guy and see if we can get it fixed.
Andrew,
The maintenance guy.
the maintenance guy?
Brittany's got his number because that's outrageous.
Outrageous. I mean, Paul's a man of standards, and if it's outrageous, then we need to get that looked at. Well, we will continue to figure this out. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back in just a hot minute here, hear a little bit more from Caleb Auman, Paul Jamison, John with Signature Landscaping Corp, as we try to figure out what's going on with this beautiful hot tub down in beautiful Tampa, Florida. Guys, hang tight. We'll be right on back.
The Lawntrepreneur Academy is an industry-leading online training website. We have training courses and programs where you can learn how to start a lawn care business, how to do mulch installations, aeration and overseeding, and so much more. For you who don't enjoy writing up legal contracts, we can help you with an assortment of documents, including residential contracts, commercial contracts, snowplow contracts for both residential and commercial, plus snow and ice management logs. These are the documents and resources that Brian Fullerton uses in his lawn care and landscaping business every single day.
I've put literally tens of thousands of dollars and many dozens and if not hundreds of hours behind these resources to make them available to help you guys grow your business.
No matter if you need training, resources, documents, or even one-on-one coaching, the LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com is for you who want to start, grow, and run a successful lawn care business. The link along with the discount code is in the podcast description. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200, but go straight over to the Kid Contractor Podcast for part 2, and maybe we'll find out if they ever got the hot tub to work.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.